When working on a project here in Asana, it's always important to stay up to date on the progress. What's the status of the project? What's the project all about? These are things that we can find or add to the overview of a project, something we're going to explore in this movie. The Overview tab can be found in the top left corner of any project right under the name. So if you've been following along with me with the Relocate HR to First Floor project or working on your own, click Overview and you'll see right at the top information about collaboration. This is placeholder text, as is the text you see down below, welcoming the team, setting the tone, that kind of thing. So up here where it says how we'll collaborate, I'm going to click there and just simply type in welcome. I'm going to add a welcome message down below. And again, we just click down there and start typing. So I'm going to add welcome office relocation team. We're going to use this project to coordinate the relocation of the HR department from the 8th floor to the 1st floor. Come here often to see how the project is progressing. And that means setting up the status. Over here on the right-hand side, we can choose a status. Is it on track? Is it at risk of falling behind, or is it off track? Notice up here at the top, we also have a set status link that we can click to get access to those same things. So if we happen to be in a different view, for example, in board view, and we go to Set Status, we'll be taken back to the Overview tab, where we can go over here to the right to choose the status. Well, before we set up the status, we should maybe set up a due date. Let people know when this project should be finished. And if I look down below at some of the activity, it looks like deadline for project completion was something that David Rivers added to the communications here. Clicking this opens it up. Looks like it should wrap up by December 31st. So we hit the back button then to go back to our overview. We'll go to no due date, click there and set the due date to what was communicated, for me, the end of December, and click done. Notice the start date shows up here as the same. I'm going to change the start date here to 11, and I'm going to change the date here to 10 and click done. So now we have a due date, and looking at our tasks and going to the list or board view, even the calendar view, something we're going to explore in an upcoming movie, we can check on the status to see if we're at risk of maybe falling behind or if we're way off track and there's no way we're going to get this done by the due date. We can choose the status by simply clicking one of these buttons. I'm going to say that we're on track so far. Now, as soon as we do that, look what happens. We arrive at this status update. Notice we can get reminders too. Remind me to update every Friday. I like that. Getting a reminder to come in here and make sure that we're still on track or change the status if we need to from here, we can do that. We can add a summary, add what we've accomplished down below, placeholder text there for that. What's blocking us, what's slowing us down perhaps, and what are the next steps? So if there are issues, right now there aren't any, so I'm just going to leave it as is and click the post button to post that update. Notice it looks a little bit different over here. Now we can see that the status update made on November 10th. There's a summary here. We can click this to open it up, go right back into it, or just go to update status from here if we needed to. We also see on track at the top of the screen now with that green dot. Down below, you can see the due date, and you'll notice that we can send messages to members directly from here. The other thing that we can see are the project roles. The person who creates the project is the project owner. That's me. You can see Jennifer Valladonna is one of the team members. We can add a role. Clicking this allows us to choose add role or set her as the project owner, even remove people from the project here. I'm going to click add role and type in contributor. When we click done, she now has a role. If we need to add additional members, we could do it from here. Down below, you'll see milestones and goals, things that you'll need a paid subscription for to work with those features. So we've updated our overview. We can go back to list or board view now, and at any time, go to the status at the top, on track. That'll take us back to overview, or click the overview tab. Other things that could help with staying on track and understanding the progress would be the timeline and dashboard, which you'll need a paid subscription to access. But with the overview, we can really get a feel for the project, what it's about, the progress and status, and activity that's going on over here on the right-hand side. When working with tasks in a project, in a team, looking at your own tasks, for example, you may want to get a feel for how your schedule looks with those tasks. In other words, where there might be free time, where things are getting a little hectic, and there is a view for that. It's called the calendar view. The calendar view does appear for teams, for projects, for task lists, and individuals. We're going to explore it. Now, beginning with a project, I'm looking at the Relocate HR to First Floor project here in list view, but notice a few over is the calendar view. Clicking this switches us to a calendar, and we can scroll through to see all of the tasks in that project. It doesn't matter who they're assigned to. If they're part of the project, they appear in the calendar. And in fact, we can go to those tasks, click them to get the details, and even go in here if we wanted to and mark things as complete. I'm going to mark all of these complete, including the main task, Backup Senior Management Computers, and close this up. Even quicker, if we needed to go to a task that's not complete and mark it as complete, whether it's our own or for someone else, like pack up computer equipment. I know Mark has done this, so I can go here. As soon as we hover over the task, you'll notice a little circle and check mark to mark the task as complete. They appear in the calendar, kind of grayed out into the background, but we still get to see them along with the other ones. Get a feel for where we have some openings, some free days, and where things are getting really busy. So that's a project. Let's go to a specific team like office relocation. When we click the name, we get an overview of the office relocation team, who's a member, what projects are assigned to this team. There's one that we can access from here. We can do things like send messages, but up at the top is a calendar tab, and clicking it gives us access to the office relocation team's tasks. So it could be multiple projects we're looking at here. If a team member has a task in any project, we get to see it from here, and we can access them just like we could in the project view, and even mark these tasks as complete if we wanted to as well. If you want to go to your own tasks, you can go to My Tasks, and here we can see our tasks. We can add tasks, but in calendar view, it looks a little bit different. We get columns, and we can go through the various weeks looking at just our tasks. We can add additional tasks if we needed to. For example, we might want to follow up on a previous task. So I'm going to move to a certain day of the week and click Add Task. Just type in follow up on employee backups and press Enter. Now I can go to this details by clicking it. I can see it's assigned to me automatically because I'm in My Tasks. You can see a due date, and I can come in here if I wanted to. It's the date that I created it. But if I wanted to change the due date, I could do it from here. You can also do it from the calendar. Want to change this to the 24th? Just click and drag it. We can drag these around. That will automatically change the due date. Kind of cool. So we can look at a team task, a project task. We can look at our own tasks, and we can go to individuals. For example, Jennifer Veladonner down here. If I click her icon to access her task list, I can go to a calendar view of her tasks. And this gives me an idea when she's available and when she's very busy completing certain tasks. Those are the due dates. And just like the other views, we can go in here and update these, marking them as complete, or going back and unmarking them so that they still have a due date. We can make those adjustments all from these different calendar views. So we'll go back to our project to relocate HR to the first floor, knowing that we can go to the calendar view for a project, for a person, for a team, even for our own task list, and from the calendar view, get a better idea how things are scheduled, when we have more free time, and take a look, bird's eye view at those days when we're overly busy as well.